Hello and welcome, guys. Melissa Butler here, and I am excited. This is our pre-course work session, and starting again. Hello, guys. I am so excited that you guys are here. Goal setting A to Z in the film industry. So excited about this course. Don't want to be at labor or anything. Let's get into it. Now, this pre-course work session is all about the writing assessment. So please do not skip this session because it's called pre. You guys want to make sure you take this assessment because it is the foundation of everything that we do in the course. And so you're really going to miss a lot if you do not do this. So, if you have not downloaded the handout in the drive, you can pause this, take a couple of seconds to do that, or I have the questions on the screen and we're going to go over them. So just make sure you have a pen, paper, whatever you want to make notes on, and take notes, but also record your scores for each question. So this is a really honest assessment. You may not like some of the questions. You may not like some of your answers to the question, but I want you guys to be honest about where you are. The first step in attaining any goal is just really looking at the situation and being honest about what it is. You can't fix anything. You can't get anything if you don't know where you're starting. So we're going to figure out where we are in our writing journey. And do we currently have the skills to attain that writing goal? Because if we don't, we need to attain those skills first. If there's, other than skill set, if there's specific documentation that we need to attain our writing goals, we need to know that too. So this is just about finding out where we are and what we need to attain our writing goals. And if you look at it that way, we'll be able to get through this without too much pain to our ego or anything like that. So let's jump into the questions. All right, so these are split into two. Here are the first 8. I want you guys to record the points for each one. And so here we go. How many scripts have you written? 1 to 3, 1 point. 4 to 6, 2 points. 7 to 9, 3 points. 10 or more, 4 points. This question is really about seeing if you're a beginner or a little bit more seasoned. Number 2, are your scripts in the same format or genre? If you guys don't know what a format is, it would be animated versus live action, or short form content versus feature versus pilot. So if all of your work is in the same format, so they're all features, then that would be a yes. If they're all features, but they're all in different genres, then you're going to be somewhere in the middle. So if no, they're not in the same format, no, they're not in the same genre, then you get 1 point. If it's a mix, then that's 3 points. If yes, everything I've written is a pilot, and they're all in the same genres, then you get 4 points. Congratulations. I was never able to do that when I first started. Number 3, have you guys received feedback? Now, when I say feedback, I don't mean that you had to enter a screenwriting contest or hire a consultant. If you did, that's awesome. But have you had someone outside of yourself read it? Have you had another writer read it, an actor, a filmmaker, a family friend who loves reading? Just have you received feedback from anybody somewhere? No, 1 point. I know it's really hard to share your work. Yes, 4 points. So what kind of feedback have you received? Have you given something to somebody and they're like, wow, I couldn't get through it? There were a lot of grammatical errors, or I didn't understand the plot, I was confused. There were so many characters and their names were similar. That's one point. Don't be upset with negative feedback. Negative feedback can make you a better writer. You just have to have the right perspective on it. So don't be ashamed of receiving negative feedback. If you receive positive feedback, that's a 4. Also, guys, I just want to make sure you remember, this is not about your writing skills. This is about where you are in your writing journey. So number 5, how long have you been writing? 1 year or less, 1 point. 2 to 3 years, 2 points. 3 to 4 years, 3 points. 4 years or more, 4 points. Do you outline before you write? Now, I know this is a touchy topic. There's a big camp of people who hate outlining. I used to be in this camp. And then there's a big group of people who absolutely swear this is the way to go. I kind of fall in that camp now. So no, I don't outline. 0 points. I'm going to talk more about that later. Sometimes 3 points. Yes, 4 points. Do you have a writing schedule? Do you set aside time? Whether it's the same time every day, every week, it doesn't matter. But do you set aside time to write? Or do you just write whenever you can? If the answer is no, 0 points. Sometimes 3 points. Yes, 4 points. Number 8, do you develop your concepts/ideas? No, 0 points. Somewhat, 2 points. Yes, 4 points. Okay, that was the first section. Now I want to talk about questions 6 through 8 a little bit. It may seem a little harsh that for the no answers there are 0 points, but if you want to be staffed, if you want to get an agent or a manager, if you want to make screenwriting your career, get writing jobs and assignments, it's going to be imperative that you outline. It's going to be imperative that you have a writing schedule, and it's going to be imperative that you sit down and you develop your concepts and your ideas. These are all things that agents and managers are going to require of you. These are things that if you're staffed, the head writer is going to require of you. If you're getting writing jobs and assignments, your clients are going to want to see that you at least put together some type of outline to know where their story is going. And they want to know that you can develop your their concepts and ideas into something bigger. So these bigger writing goals all require you to do these things. So if you're not doing it, then you're not at that point in your career yet, and that's okay. If you are doing, then you have set yourself up to be a little bit closer to that goal than someone who hasn't. So let's move on to the second half of the assessment. Okay, so our next question: do you have a development process for your story, for your plot, for your world, characters, etc., etc., etc.? No, 0 points. Somewhat, 2 points. Yes, 4 points. Again, a lot of these questions are because these bigger writing goals require you to have some type of process that you follow. Do you create log lines for your scripts? No, 0 points. Sometimes 3 points. Yes, 4 points. Have you written treatments, synopsises, etc.? No, 0 points. Sometimes 3 points. Yes, 4 points. Have you pitched anything before? Now, this one is very broad. It didn't have to be at a pitch competition or to producer or agent manager or anything like that. Have you tried to tell someone about your project and kind of sell them on it? Could be a friend or a writing group that you're a part of. Just have you pitched in any way, shape, or form one of your projects? No, 0. Yes, 4 points. How many drafts do you write before sharing? 1, 0 point. 2 to 4, 2 points. 5 to 7, 3 points. 8 plus 4 points. Now, when it comes to drafts, I want to make sure you guys understand what I mean. A draft is not necessarily a complete rewrite of a script. A draft may just be looking at the dialogue of one character. It may be doing a pass of all of your dialogue. It may be doing a pass of your major your plot points. It just may be making sure that you're not too subtle and tweaking things like that. So a draft is not a complete rewrite of your script, but it is taking a chunk of certain elements of your script and just making sure that it is great, is as great as it can be. Have you mastered formatting? No, 0 points. Kinda, 2 points. Yes, 4 points. I think that's self-explanatory. Formatting is very important because when you format properly, it helps the reader, whether it's an actor, a producer, a director, it helps them read the script. When your formatting is off, it does something crazy to our eyes and it makes it more difficult to read. Have you mastered a genre? No, 0 points. Kinda, 2 points. Yes, 4 points. Now this kind of goes back to the question, are all of your scripts in the same genre? The more you write a particular thing, the better you get at it. Now, each genre has its own conventions to making us scared, making us laugh, making us feel what a character is feeling, making us just get lost in a fantasy world. There are things that you have to do in order to evoke those certain emotions in each genre. So while it's good to be able to write more than one thing, mastering something is also very important. And then this is my absolute favorite question. How are you at taking notes? They are pointless. You get 1 point. I could be better, 2 points. I try to implement them, but don't always understand them, 3 points. I love notes. I take what makes the script better and try to understand why I got the others. That's 4 points. Now, again, this is one of the things that no matter what your goal is, you're going to have to work with notes. Keep in mind, not everybody understands how to give notes. They don't understand that although this is the problem, how to explain the problem or explain why they felt disconnected to a character, which is why a lot of times you'll get the note, the character is not likable enough. Characters don't have to be likable. We just have to understand their motivations. And so, but as a writer, as someone who wants to work within the industry and create stories and worlds, you have to be able to take notes. They are not pointless, but I at one time thought that notes were dumb. I thought nobody understood my story as well as I did. But the more I got writing jobs and writing assignments and worked with producers that were good at giving notes, the more I understood that, hey, if I take what this person is saying into account, it's going to make my story even better. And that's the perspective we should have about notes. You take what makes the script better, and anything else, the person still gave that note for a reason. So try to figure out what was the reason that they gave those other notes that aren't making the script better. So how is that, you guys? We're going to calculate our scores now. I'm going to give you a second to calculate your scores, add all of that up. And if you need more time to calculate, just pause the video. Okay. 0 to 7 points. You probably need a little bit more education. And before I go any further, I want everybody to understand there's nothing wrong at any point, whether you've been, writing for 7, 8 years or more, that education in some way, shape, or form should not be on your brain. I myself still take workshops from time to time, listen to talks from other screenwriters, talks with filmmakers and things like that. And then especially because the way that we consume content now is so different than the way we did even 3 years ago, much less 10 years ago, that the way you write has to change. Writing has always had to evolve. Our stories are at such a faster pace now, and people are binging content now, that you have to write in a specific way for a show to be bingeable. Shows on Netflix are on Netflix because they are bingeable shows, versus shows on other platforms aren't always necessarily bingeable shows. So education is always important. Someone who scores a 40 on this or higher may also benefit from more education too. So back to our scores. 0 to 17, you may need some more education. And a good writing goal for you would be to look for writing jobs. Now, you'll see writing jobs and writing assessments. They're a little bit different. So writing jobs are going to be things that you find that are from maybe authors or just somebody, a regular person out there who's not in the industry, who has a story and doesn't even know where to start, how to turn that into a script. This is where I started off, guys. If you scored 18 to 26, you just maybe need some more practice, maybe some more in education as well. But a good writing goal for you is going to be writing assignments. Now, this is something that you may get from another writer. So, for instance, a writer has an idea, they've written out an outline for a series, but they just need somebody to talk through the plot points with them and help them write the episodes. Or a filmmaker or a newer producer has a story, but they need to get it done. This is going to be work that are from people within the industry, so they know what script should look like. They know what they want, and they're the people who are going to give you a little bit more feedback and notes so you can practice those things. Now, if you score between 27 and 40, you're all about perfecting, mastering that genre, figuring out what your voice is as a screenwriter. So a good goal for you is going to be optioning and selling your script, which is perfect because you're here at WOAccelerator. So as you are really perfecting your voice and figuring out what that is, once you're done with this course, you can send us your best script and get it in front of producers and filmmakers who are looking to make their next thing, and potentially get that option or sold. But we're going to talk about some things you need to do in order to do that. And then last but not least, if you scored 40 plus points, congratulations. You're about polishing, just making sure you have everything that you need to take your career to the next level. And so it would probably be a really good goal for you to do some research and send query letters to agents and managers. So, you guys, if you have, if these goals don't fall in line with what you want to do, you are looking to get staffed or something like that, you can still follow along with this and create a plan for your particular goal. So we're going to talk a little bit about reaching our screenwriting goals. This can be really difficult and challenging. As I mentioned in the introduction, we as screenwriters spend so much time creating the worlds, the characters, and the story that this business side of screenwriting gets really overlooked. But once you have several scripts, whether they're short form, features, web series, whatever they may be, you really need to think about, if you want to make this a career, what comes next, and really drill down on what you want to do. Some people just want writing jobs and writing assignments. I know for years that's all I focused on. I didn't really want to work in Hollywood. I wasn't interested in, really partnering with a producer or anything like that. I just wanted to find writing clients who were telling stories that I found interesting and help them write whatever that was. That was my goal for years. Some people are really just, I want to write a script and I want to sell it. I don't care what happens to it after that. I just want to write stuff and I want to sell it. And that is a great goal. I have optioned several things, and it's always fun to have someone say, hey, I really like your project. I want to see if I can get funding for this. It's really exciting. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but it's very exciting. So it doesn't matter what your writing goal is. Planning and really focusing in on what your writing goals are imperative. So your writing goals cannot be all four of these things at the same time. You can't be looking for writing jobs, writing assignments, optioning, selling, and looking for an agent and a manager all at the same time. Your focus is going to be split. So this time, I want you to really think about, what do you guys want in your writing career? Ultimately, you may want a writing, ultimately, you may want to get an agent or manager or to work in Hollywood or whatever it is. But are you ready for that? Be honest with yourself about what you're really ready for. And then think about what you really want. You may just be happy to sell a couple of scripts. That's okay. Each of us has to decide what our writing goals are going to be and the things that are going to make us happy within those goals, because each of these goals are going to require different things from you emotionally and actually physically. So take that into account, and I want you guys to think about what you want and what's going to make you the most happy. And then when we come back for session 1, I want you guys to know what your writing goal is. We're going to be focusing on the 4: writing jobs, writing assignments, optioning and selling, and getting an agent and a manager. We're going to focus on those 4 things. But like I said, your writing goal can be anything. So in session 1, that's one of the big things we're going to do. We're going to set our writing goals, and we're going to start digging into what comes next after we set those writing goals. Also, I want you guys to keep in mind and think about your course projects. I would just want to put this out here now. The course projects can be one of 4 things. It's either finishing or polishing a script. It's either creating several samples. We're going to talk about how to do all of this, and you guys are going to receive samples for all of these. Where the other course project can be creating a query letter. And this can be either for your project or for yourself to get an agent or a manager. And we're also going to talk about pitch decks. So if you've written a pilot, pitch deck is the thing that you need to get that out there. Really what all of this is, guys, is just different marketing tools that you're going to use to get yourself and your writing out into the world so people are aware of it. Because nobody can hire you, sign you, or make your work if they don't know you and your work exists. And then we're going to talk about WOAccelerator some more. I mentioned it before. About submitting your best script to our marketplace so that producers can view it. In our last session, I'm going to go over that in a lot more detail, and we'll talk about that a bit more. But other than that, guys, I hope you had a great time in this pre-course work session. I know sometimes it's tough to be honest about where we are, especially when we have really big goals. But this really is the first step in making all those dreams come true. So with that said, I will see you guys in the next session. Don't forget, if you are not currently following WOAccelerator on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, make sure you do that. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter, because we send really good information out to you guys on a regular basis. And I will see you in the next session.